Look at these cute little tortoises. I feel like we've done a good job here, but they are on their own, and I want to make this a mixed habitat if we can. So let's bring in the tortoise's best friend. If we go the African spurred tortoise, interspecies enrichment, they only have one friend, the poor things. Let's get some Dama Gazelle in here, because these guys are critically endangered, and they desperately need our help. Oh, we've also had an inspector's report. Let's quickly look at that before we get our Gazelle. How are we doing? I think a bit better. Yeah, we're level 3 on education and we're 5 stars on cleanliness. So 4-star overall is not bad. I think one of our challenges is to get it to be, oh, where's the challenge there? Is to get it to be 5-star. Yeah, so we're, the one before was 3 stars. This one's 4 stars. Oh, we're going in the right direction. And we have a dead bush dog. No, I'm joking. They're just sleeping. This is Snoop, who has not a care in the world. But the guests are right there. That... That's a level of confidence that I aspire to. Just fully asleep, sprawled out in front of everyone. Love it. Right, let's get some Gazelle in here. I want to get these guys some friends. So if we go animal trading, we can now remove the filters and select the Dama Gazelle. And there's only females available. Okay, well, there's only one male in the group anyway. And I can't quite remember what group size they are. They're 1 to 20, okay, or 3 to 20, sorry. So 1 male and up to 19 females. And it doesn't have to be a family group. They'll accept anyone into the herd, the male will. And the females love everyone because they're not mean like the male. How old do they need to be? That's the other question. So they live to 15 and they can breed from 1.5 until death. So if they're getting on, if they're like 10, that might be a little bit old. Oh, it looks like all of these are around 5 years old. That's kind of perfect. Okay, I think none of these are jumping out at me as being too bad. There's a few reds, but they're not awful. I think let's get all of them. Seeing as we're here to help out, let's adopt all of them that are available. Okay, we've got all these guys. Let's go to animal storage and move them into quarantine just to check that they haven't got any sicknesses or scrapes and bumps that we wanna look at before we put them in with everyone else. And while we do that, I think we do need to get started with our our toilet situation because we put it off a very long time. The guests don't have a single toilet in this place. And I'm slightly struggling to think where I'm going to put one. It might be worth having one at the entrance, although this is our biodiversity area. On this side, it's not. So I think let's add a toilet in here. It can be in keeping with this theme. If we select facilities, guest facilities, and turn the blueprints off, we should find the toilets in here somewhere. Where are they? Toilet block. Let's put one of these in. I think let's have a double toilet maybe. Like have them enter from one way and exit the other. We can have a little bit set back as well if we want. Let's have it set back very slightly. Something like that. And we can connect these up with some construction pieces. So I believe we're using the Australia wood here. Which matches in with this. Yes, it does. Okay, Australia wood. We're just going to build a fairly simple toilet, but I want to keep it in theme with the rest of the stuff here, which is North Africa and South America. It's a bit of a unique blend, but that's what we're going with. Okay, I went with kind of an asymmetric design on this one, which I quite like because I always build everything quite symmetrical and I wanted this to look a little bit different to the normal stuff. So we've gone with some ceramic African pieces and then the South American frogs just to tie it together. And I think this works. It gives them a toilet, which is basically what they need. That's all they're asking for is somewhere to go to the toilet. So that should massively improve our guest opinion on toilet. I imagine the 60% is just going to go through the roof. But we do need to keep improving them, and probably another toilet wouldn't be the worst shout as well. For now, though, I imagine our Dama Gazelle have probably gone through quarantine. Yes, they're just starting to. As I'm speaking now, they're going through and passing quarantine. So I'm just going to move these over into the habitat and rename this habitat. So it's going to be African Spurred Tortoise and Dama Gazelle. Now we've got 3 of them passed now, ready to leave. Let's put all of them into the habitat, and then we'll do the other 3 as well when they're done. And our staff are now going to go grab them and then yeet them into the habitat as they do. Here we go. They're entering the habitat. The first Dama Gazelle. Oh, look at them. They're so small. They're so, like, dainty, aren't they? Look at them. You're quite thin. They're 5.9 this one. 5.9 years old. What do you think of the place? Do you like it? You a fan? What about this one? What do you guys think? Okay, so terrain-wise, it's pretty good. They should be happy with it. And environment-wise, they're happy with the plant coverage as well. So the actual habitat itself is good. I'm going to pause it because I don't know whether they can get out or not. And then we're going to select, where is it? Habitat. And click on one of the Dama Gazelle. Ah! Okay. So, they can jump out. I did wonder whether this would be a problem because of the fences we're using. Whether they would be able to or not. That's a slight issue. I think this is far enough away where they can't make it out. Generally. I think what we're going to need to do is just go around and slightly elevate the fences up so that it's not possible to jump over. Like, I think if the fences were maybe this high, they wouldn't be able to get out. But that means we're going to have to put something underneath them. So I want to get, like, a nice African wood piece that blends in well. And then I think we could embed the fence into that. Or we duplicate it and have another set going down. Which could also work, potentially. Something like that might work. I think this could work here. If we have it like this, if you have another one underneath, that should be pretty good. And that will raise it up, I think, just enough that they can't get out. Because they need 1.25 meters. And if we get a 1 meter piece, which is this, that is definitely taller than that. Whether it's 1.25, I'm not quite sure, but I think it's going to be very easy just to raise it up slightly if it's not. So I'm going to go around and just raise up these fence posts and add in the other ones so that it's basically exactly what we need. Okay, let's see what this is like now. If we click on one of the Gazelle, we've raised everything up. They can get out here. Ah, it's because of the rocks. That's fine, though. We can adjust that slightly. Make them less traversable. That's a unique case where I feel like we can work around that. Because they're always going to be able to jump out if the rock's that close. Unless we put something special here. And we could just raise these up a bit higher, these 3. To kind of compensate for it. But we'll do that in a more obvious way at the time. Okay, now let's go around and just add in all of the small under barriers that we're putting in. So we have this design going along the whole thing. Goodness. I did think when I put them in, I thought, oh, it's a 1 meter fence. Is that going to be high enough? Yeah, it'll be fine. And here we are. Okay, that should be good enough. It should hopefully mean that our tortoises can't escape through the bottom now as well. Yeah, no, they're fine. They can't get out the bottom. The gazelle can't get out the top except for over here. So maybe just on these few. Maybe these 4 here. Or even 5. I think it makes sense to be the 5 because it's the 5 near the rocks. We just raise that up to be about there. And then we do the same for these corner posts here. That seems good to me. You can't get out. Can you get out? Now they can't get out. Perfect. Okay. That's what we like. And there are 3 in quarantine, so let's just move them into the habitat as well. And we've got 6 Dama Gazelle in there with our tortoise. Are there any males? Yes, there's males available. Wow, that's an amazing one. Okay. Got there's some really good one. That's 1.9. Let's order them by appeal. And I think we'll just go for the top one. This is, ooh, quite young. I'd rather go for the better genetics, to be honest. It's got a better score, but I want them to be good at everything. I actually think this one's pretty good, the 1.9. We're going to get this for 19 credits and send them to quarantine. And we can reproduce that Dama Gazelle in with the others. Because we want a good genetic male in order to start our breeding program. But these fences, I think, are good. There's obviously a slightly bigger gap here, but it's just where it's connecting, so I don't think it's that bad. And we've got our education boards as well, so let's put these to educate our guests about the Dama Gazelle. Because these are all empty at the minute. And probably we should put some education speakers in for these guys too, because at the minute we just have speakers for the African spurred tortoise. So we do want to educate our guests fully about both species. Okay, I think that's pretty good. That's reasonable education, and it's quite an interesting habitat, I think, for these guys. Have they got enough space? Yes, they do. They don't have enough hard shelter, but that's because we've not really designed the hard shelter for them so far. So if we click on habitat, it will show you the traversable area. Yeah, they can't get inside these huts because they're too low. We could raise the hut up, to be fair. We could raise, even if it's just like on one side, we could make these huts a little bit higher so they have the same hard shelter. I'm actually very tempted to do that. I think we will. Let's raise these huts so they're accessible by both. We're going to need to turn the grid height down to 1 probably. And that is probably sufficient that now they can enter these. No, they still can't enter them. Okay. Well, we'll try it again. I'm thinking maybe the doorways here are just too narrow for them. And that's the issue. Okay, well, in that case, we'll leave it how they were. But then we do need to put some in for the actual Dama Gazelle as well. And maybe what we can do is we can have a couple of larger ones and a couple of smaller ones. Let's do that. So I'm going to edit this here and get rid of the outside and make it much bigger. Okay, I've just put one inside here as well to test if they can get out. I think they can. Yeah, they jump out for some reason instead of walking through the door, but that's fine. Which I think also means that they can enter these. if they want to. They just haven't chosen to yet, which is a little bit odd. But I'm not gonna read too much into it. I think it's fine. Let's put a couple of these in that are a little bit bigger. Okay, I think this is good. I've just duplicated it over here as well. So we've got these like double huts. I think this is good enough. It gives them a bit more space, and I've put some bedding in for the gazelle in here. So they should be able to navigate this whole thing now and basically have enough hard shelter. Yeah, they've got loads of hard shelter now. So we've got a couple of double huts and then a couple of smaller entrance huts that are just for the tortoises, which I think seems fair as well. Like, it gives the tortoises some space which is away from the gazelle if they want that. But I think these guys are happy, like, cohabiting generally. I'm gonna also go into habitat and give these guys some stuff that they want, because they're gonna need food enrichment and toys. So let's put some of both scattered around. I'm gonna put 1 food enrichment and then 2 food enrichment, maybe a 3rd one. Let's have the scarecrow feeder maybe by this tree here. And then they're gonna want a large food trough. Let's have that kind of centrally located there, because I don't want them to be forced to be too near the guests all the time. They've got the water they need. So then, in like toy enrichment wise, we're gonna have a herb scent marker there, and they don't really have much in the way of toys. Let's give them a rubbing pillar, maybe up the back here. They can have a rubbing pillar, but they haven't really got a lot. I guess we need to do some more research on them. And I am slightly concerned about their stress, but I feel like we've given them enough spaces to hide now, where if they're too near the guest, they'll run away and go hide in them. And we can put some of these signs up that tell basically everyone to leave them alone. Where is it? I think it's bins, benches, and security. Yes, it's here, the do not disturb. These signs are basically what we need, because it just stops them from being noisy. And we can go on the heat maps actually and see security and crime. Do not disturb signs. Ah, we've already got a lot around here, so that's good. Let's put another one here, and then 1 in here, and then another one over here. So really, we're just trying to make sure that the guests are being nice and quiet when they're near them, because if they're spooked by noise, we don't want them to have to put up with that all the time, do we? These should keep the guests quiet and stop the stress. We can put one-way glass in, but I don't think it's really necessary because they are far enough away. Like, they're not actually freaked out at all. Like, okay, that one's stress is going down now, but the second it's, like, amber, they'll just move away. And it's going back up now, and they're in the same spot. So I don't think it's too bad. I think they're okay. And the second they're behind something, this whole space you can't be seen. And we won't have guests come on this side. We'll maybe put a biodiversity area in here or something. But we'll keep this area behind nice and available so that they don't get too stressed out. And when guests aren't here, like now, they can enjoy using the different enrichment that they have. Plus, I think we have one of them. We've got our male still in quarantine, don't we? So let's get our male in here. And please suggest names for all of the Dama Gazelle and all of the tortoises and basically any animal that comes into the zoo. We will rename everyone. So please put your name suggestions in the comments and I will read them and rename the animals in the future. How are the guests enjoying their toilets as well? That's something crucial that I want to know. If we go to our guest needs, actually, what do they think? Toilet, 74% now. They just want more food and drink. Okay, cool. Well, I think another toilet and some food and drinks over in this end would probably be a good idea because there's nothing really over here. There's the negative impact of this. But if we have a staff building here, the guests can still use this area. Like, there's no reason they can't use this. And I'm thinking maybe we put, like, a little food court area on this side to take the guests away from this path. Like, pull them away from where the animals are and have it something over here. I think that's a good shout. We did that before with the bamboo pieces. I think we might do that again, just for accessibility reasons. We will use bamboo for this instead of just having it be dirt. There's no real difference for the guests that are able to go on the dirt as there is for those that can't. So we might as well put it in as a nice big open space. And then let's add some buildings in. We're going to need some food and drink. So facilities, guest facilities. We've got our blueprints turned off. What should we add in? I'm thinking maybe we get some Bernie's Bakes in here. I think if we have a queue going like this, we can separate out the different food areas a little bit more, because they can have like ropes like that prevent them queuing for the same thing. And then I think we already have ice cream. Do we have milkshakes? Let me check the facilities. So we've got milkshakes and chief beef. Okay, fine. In that case, let's get some soda in here. We'll have soda. We should probably have some water in case it's hot. Should have had that a while ago, really. Where's the water? Water here. And then let's have another toy thing. So there's not really many we can actually use in the game. Let's go for balloons because they do like them. It's a shame there aren't many options, but they've got a few, and we're going to use all of them. We can't not use them, otherwise we end up just with nothing. And that's a little bit dull. And I think let's keep the mud theme. You know, we've got... It's near enough to this habitat that we can keep the African mud style, because I quite like this, and it's environmentally friendly. So let's put that in, and maybe we should even have a staff building at the back, as we've done before. Let's have a nice staff facilities. We'll have a little staff room that goes behind these buildings. And they can enter through there. I think that's good. And we may even, if we move one of these, we might be able to break the path here. And then there we go. We can create a little staff path before we move this back. So now only staff can go over this section. Well, we've got the shell here. Let's create the actual building. Okay, I think that's a pretty reasonable little guest area we've got here. And I think the tickets are underpriced. Don't worry about that. We can easily fix that. Let's make this 12 and 6 and see what they think of that. The place feels pretty small, but it's great scenery, great prices, and they want more food and drink. Well, we are providing all of these things. So hopefully they like what we're doing. We're going in the right direction anyway. And I think this has turned out quite nicely, the little staff area as well. I like having that here. So we need to add some more stuff in here. We could probably do with a nice big tree in the middle. So maybe if I remove... Oh, it's 2 here, isn't it? I did like having the tree in the middle before, but maybe we'll do trees on the outside to compensate this time. And we're obviously going to go for the ones that are locally found. So we've got beech trees and I think what's the other type? Sycamore maples are the main 2. Let's put some of those in. We could probably go for kind of asymmetric planting with this as well. It doesn't have to be exact. This is going to ruin our chance of getting a solar panel here. So let's put a smaller beech tree on this side. And maybe a sycamore. Nice big sycamore maple tree over here. And another one round the back there. That seems good. Even have a few. This feels a little bit more full, doesn't it now? We turn off align to surface, we can put some of them on the hill here as well. Because I think even just having a few trees will really kind of pull it into the foreground and make it so it doesn't seem so out of place where it is. I don't know how well these trees would grow on a slope, but I assume it doesn't really make a difference because they're just going to stretch their roots out, aren't they? That's probably pretty reasonable, and it kind of corners off this area quite nicely. It zones it in. So now if we go in and add some benches to this area, they should fit quite nicely. I don't think we've used any so far anywhere else. We're using the Africa ones over here with this theme, so I think let's do the same thing for these guys over here. Put some African benches in, and I think let's kind of place these randomly. They don't have to be in a line. This is a disorganized thing. Oh no, someone's lost their balloon. I can see the shadow. Someone's lost their balloon there. Aww. The shop's barely open. They're already losing their things. Actually, I think I'm going to go with straight benches because it's going to make the canopies much easier, much more easy to put in. And also, we're going to be able to get more benches in here while still maintaining clear walkways, which I think accessibility-wise is the way to go. I don't want people to not be able to get through. I don't think these canopies are doing much, but they are there, I guess. It's supposed to be shrunk down, aren't they? I've just realized. I was like, that's super high. But no, that makes much more sense than being that height. Let's shrink these down. There we go. That's a bit better. Now they're a bit more realistically doing something. And we've got the shade from the trees now, which is great. Like, this tree in particular gives this area quite a lot of shade in part of the day, which will be good for our guests. Because we don't want them all getting sunburned when they're out here. For those that are a little bit paler and more susceptible to the sun. And look, these guys are sleeping in here. Oh, they must be enjoying it. Social. Oh, you got stressed. That's why you've gone inside. But that's fine. That's what it's for. Look, go all the way back up. They've got their bonus, their interspecies bonus from being with the tortoises. That's amazing. And these guys exactly the same. They're super happy and they're getting that bonus as well. I do think, obviously, their bedding being here isn't ideal next to all the guests, but they have the option to go over here if they want a bit more peace and quiet. And I'm sure they'll be able to find a happy balance between. We could even put in another area for them, maybe. I'll see what you guys think. Do you think they need another bedding area that's a bit more secluded? Even if we just wall this off so they can't, you know, they can only enter from the back might be better. Like, have these be solid. In fact, I might do that just for the basis of kind of making it more ethical for them. I think I'm going to do it. Let's put in a solid mud wall on this side because they can still enter the building, but it means that to sleep, they can like sleep knowing that they're completely safe. I don't want them to get stressed. Yeah, look at that. That's completely cornered off. They can sleep in there without being bothered. And I think I'll do the same here. I'll make this one, maybe just this side. Is probably enough. Like that. And then they can enter through there. Because I don't want these guys getting stressed. Well, now our Dama Gazelle are in here and have a little bit more privacy and comfort. Let's learn a little bit more about them. The Dama Gazelle is a species of ungulate living in the Sahara Desert and the Sahel. It has a short white coat on its belly, legs, hindquarters, and face, and then red-brown fur on its back, shoulders, and neck. On its head, the Dama Gazelle has large protuberant ears and a black curled horn. These horns are present on both males and females. However, those of females are much shorter. Horn length in males range from 25 centimeters to 35 centimeters, while the female horns are around half that size on average. Dama Gazelles measure 95 to 105 centimeters tall at the shoulder and 140 to 168 centimeters in body length, with the females being slightly smaller. The male gazelles weigh 35 to 75 kilos, while the females are much lighter at 35 to 40 kilos, so they're quite petite animals. In Chad, the Dama Gazelle is a symbol of beauty and elegance, and it makes a honking sound when it's alarmed. Much of the conservation information for the Dama Gazelle has been provided by desert nomads and pastoralists, which is pretty cool. The Dama Gazelle lives in mixed herds led by a dominant male, and during the breeding season, the males attempt to guard females from other males and bring them into their herd. During the mating season, it is believed that males will begin by acting aggressively towards other rival males and attempt to herd females away from them. They engage in dominance displays involving prancing, kicking, and snorting, or ramming bushes to draw attention to their horns. Males monitor females in the herd for signs of oestrus by smelling their urine, which is a bit weird. And if the female is receptive to the male, they can begin mating. Following a pregnancy of 5.5 to 6 months, the female gives birth to one calf, although twins may occasionally occur. Calves are weaned at an age of 3 to 4 months. Unfortunately, the Dama Gazelles are critically endangered, with one subspecies already becoming extinct in the wild, which is devastating. Like most desert-dwelling animals, it's adapted to need very little water to survive. However, it does require more water than other desert species. It takes in water mainly through food, and due to this, any fluctuations in expected precipitation and climate can have detrimental effects on the Dama Gazelle. In addition to the consequences of climate change, its natural habitat has also been degraded and fragmented by human action, interrupting its migration routes and further complicating its access to water. Dama Gazelles are also commonly hunted and poached. And unfortunately, the Dama Gazelle is now the rarest gazelle in the world, with fewer than 400 remaining in the wild. However, the Dama Gazelle has been going through small-scale reintroduction schemes since 2015, which are believed to be its best chance to avoid extinction. And there are several nature reserves set up where they are protected. So hopefully our zoo here can help reproduce their numbers and then release more back into the wild. And we do need to set up a work zone for our shop that we made. So let's make a new work zone that has all of this stuff in it over here. And we can call this what should we call it? The Gazelle shops? Or Tortoise and Gazelle shops. I like that. It's like Tortoise and the Hare, but it's Tortoise and Gazelle shops. And we can add in our vendors that are basically the ones that aren't working in the frog shops or work in the Tortoise and Gazelle shops. We could probably also hire another vendor for that because the others have an extra person to kind of help them out, or 1 or 2 extra people actually. So we can do that, and we can train up all of our vendors, which is just going to be our new ones basically. And another thing we should do is our staff room. We should put staff healthcare as a perk. I'm not sure we've done that in all of our staff rooms. I think the one in here doesn't have it. Yeah, staff healthcare in there, and then the one in here I believe does. Yes, they've already got staff healthcare. Cool. So they shouldn't get tired as much. It like gives them longer before they get tired. But obviously we're providing healthcare thematically for our staff, which is a nice thing to do. I feel like these guys could do with some awnings over here as well. So I think I might put them in. Let's put in Africa, and it's these, the North African ones for the shops. Can add these in nicely just in here. Like this. There we go, that's 4 of them in, and it gives a little bit more shelter when you're trying to place your order. You don't have the sun in your eyes. And look at that sun coming over the hill, or going behind it. Well, I feel like we have done loads in this video, so I hope you've enjoyed it. In the next video, we're going to continue expanding the zoo, but for now, I think that's enough for today. So if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It really helps the channel out, and I'll see you in the next one.